Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to our AI Energy Hackathon Mentorship series. Today, we are shifting into something incredibly practical and exciting coding. Now, some of you may be hearing that word and immediately thinking, I'm not a programmer. Coding sounds difficult. Do I really need coding for this hackathon? And the short answer is yes, but perhaps not in the way that you think. Because coding is simply the language we use to communicate instructions to technology. Just like we use English to communicate with one another, computers use code. And in the world of artificial intelligence, coding helps us tell machines what to look for, how to analyze data, and even how to make intelligent recommendations. Now, why is this important for our AI Energy Hackathon? Because your challenge is not simply to come up with ideas, your challenge is to think like innovators. You look at real energy problems in schools, electricity waste, inefficient systems, unnecessary energy consumption, and ask, how can AI solve this? Can AI identify patterns in energy usage? Can AI recommend smarter ways for schools to reduce electricity costs? And all of that begins with understanding the thinking behind coding. So today's session is designed to help you begin that journey. We'll be viewing 4 selected videos in progression. First, Hackathon for a better tomorrow, because innovation is not just about technology. It is about solving meaningful problems that impact lives and communities. Then, Introduction to AI Coding, which will help connect the dots between coding, artificial intelligence, and the kinds of solutions you may develop for this hackathon. Then, Introduction to JavaScript, which helps us to build and display and share those solutions with the world. And finally, Python for Kids, to show you that coding is not just something reserved for the experts. It is something that can be learned step by step. As you watch, I want to challenge you not to watch passively. Watch with questions, watch with ideas, watch with curiosity, and then ask yourselves, could this help our project? Could we use this in our school solution? Could AI actually help us create something practical and impactful? Remember, every great innovation starts with one idea, one question, and the willingness to try. This hackathon is your opportunity to think boldly, create confidently, and perhaps even design a solution that can make a real difference in how schools manage energy. So let's lean in, stay engaged, and get ready to explore the world of coding. Thank you, and let us begin.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Saim.
And my name is Ibrahim Mushal Hafiz.
We are excited to share our project Green Energy. Are you ready to learn to save the planet and have fun doing it? Let's dive in. Our project Green Energy is to learn about saving the planet and have fun doing it. We created a story to create awareness about green energy. Green energy means cleaner air, so we get sick less. Green energy sources can last forever as long as the universe is alive, like the sun and wind.
Yeah, coding can be tricky. So the difficult parts were trying to troubleshoot the code when it went wrong, trying to perfect it. The hardest part was sequencing the code.
So now we have the quiz part. What type of green energy uses sunlight? Solar panel. Solar panel. That's correct. What is company's modern energy supplier? Telco. False. Wind turbines uses the wind to turn around. True.
That is correct. I am your AI.
False. There are greenhouse gases.
That is correct.
Fossil fuels aren't counted as green energy.
That is correct.
There are very less ways of making green energy. False.
That is correct.
True or false? You can't use water as green energy. Wrong. You can use.
That is correct.
How many types of green energy are there? 7.
That is correct.
Is nuclear power green energy? No.
That is correct. By the way, this is not an AI voice, this is my voice.
And now this is the story part again. This is the story part.
Now we have teleported to Stelco.
In 2021, 97.3 million barrels of oil are used for energy every day. We need more green energy sources now! Luckily, at this rate of consumption, oil and fossil fuel energy will run out by 2060. Producing and burning fossil fuel creates air pollution that harms our health and generates toxic emissions that drive climate change. That was so sweet. Thank you for listening.
For listening.
Wow, I have learned lots of stuff. I shall start using green energy now. If green energy saves the earth, I shall use it now. Goodbye, fossil fuel.
In conclusion, we would like to say that thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you enjoyed learning about green energy as much as we did making the project. Thank you for listening to our project. Thank you. But my hands are up. Oh.
The current state of AI is very cool. There's some cool things happening in the industry, and I do think it's going to change many things in our society, including the way instructions for computers are coded. With that said, we do as humans tend to overestimate the future. I mean, look no further than Back to the Future 2. So it's like we overestimate how rapidly technology will grow, and at the same time we underestimate the sheer power of our analog brains. You know, it was the brain that came up with the idea of creating voltage signals amounting to ones and zeros to make these complex computer systems in the first place. What makes AI interesting is those ones and zeros turning around and saying, hey, let's make our own ones and zeros. In fact, AI can create code, and a lot of times we don't even know what the actual code is. It's kind of like a black box of AI scrambled code. It's really interesting how artificial intelligence systems approach problems or challenges, because it's like the ultimate outside-of-the-box thinking style. For example, you had this AI system that beat the champion of the game called Go, and the way it did so was by using very non-traditional moves that were very strange, but were so effective against this Go champion that have since become a part of the teachings of this game. So, it goes back to the classic saying of, if something is dumb but it works, is it dumb? And I am by no means saying that AI is dumb. I think that AI can approach things to the benefit of humans in terms of the brilliance of being completely open. The best way I can describe how AI works is to give you an analogy. So, do you remember that memory game where you have a set of cards and the goal is to pick 2 cards that match? So you have all these cards flipped over, you pick 2, you hope that the 2 that you pick are matches. It was in Super Mario 3 if you ever played that game. AI looking at a set of data is kind of like a player of this game in a way, because it starts with complete randomness. When you have all the cards laying face down, you have no idea which cards are which. So the first 2 that you pick are completely random. And when you pick 2, if it's not a match, you still have learned the information about those 2 cards and where they are and what they are. Building from that, you can slowly start to learn which cards are which, and you can start to make those matches until you've ultimately been successful. AI is like that in a way, except think of millions and millions of cards and playing the game over and over again in fractions of every second. AI is really good at, for one thing, image detection, but is getting better and better at writing code. There's still a long way to go. And ultimately, all artificial intelligence right now has a long way to go. The ultimate goal is to get to what's called general AI, which is essentially AI at the level of the human brain. And that's coming, hopefully in our lifetime, because I think it'd be cool, but maybe I'll live to regret those words. As it is right now, you still very much need a human to guide these AI systems. And just like any tech innovation, things will change. The way we program will change. And there's a lot of software engineers that are worried about, will we even need people who know how to code in the future? I don't think the future is that grim. I mean, think about right now. There's AI that can build simple websites, and that leads to web developers saying, "Uh-oh." But your grandma can use Wix right now and make a nice looking website. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a gradual process, if it's even a process like that at all. I think it's going to be more of a mutual beneficial relationship between programmers and the AI tools that are out there and will be out there. And there are a plethora of AI programming tools out there. One of the big ones in the field right now is OpenAI's Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3, also known as GPT-3. It can create working code in several different languages, including Python, just by being provided with relatively simple parameters of the kind of program the user is trying to obtain. The thing is, the apps are by no means perfect that it creates, and it still needs to be cleaned up and polished by a real human programmer. By the way, if you've made it this far, chances are you liked this video. Want to make it official? There's a bunch of other tools. There's a lot of code completion tools, like GitHub Copilot. It basically uses its data to try and figure out whole lines of code after what you're writing. It's kind of like when you type into Google search, it starts to autocomplete what it thinks you might search, but in programming. So when you start to write a line of code, it tries to fill in the rest of the line of code that you're writing and beyond. There's a lot of code completion software tools out there. Tab9 and Kite are other ones. There's lots of potential here. But like I said, there is a long way to go with all of this stuff. And if you can think of AI right now as in its infancy, still essentially a little kid playing with a stick on the front lawn, experimenting, guessing, stabbing in the dark, but learning from every mistake. AI is the best example of how failure can sometimes be the best teacher. Thanks for watching this video today. If you want to learn more about topics like these, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to dip our toes into JavaScript, the magical programming language that makes web pages come alive. Ready to learn? Let's go. So why should you study JavaScript? Great question. JavaScript is one of the 3 languages every web developer should know: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's take a short look at each language. 1. HTML. Defines content. Think of this as the structure of your site. 2. CSS. Specifies the layout and style of your site. And 3. JavaScript. It can change how websites behave, look, and interact with you. Think of it like the secret sauce that spices up your favorite meal. On this page, we use JavaScript for 2 things: changing to dark mode and that live clock. Here are some more simple examples showing the different ways JavaScript can work. First up, JavaScript can change HTML content. Imagine we want some text to change on our web page when a user clicks a button. We have a paragraph here with an ID called demo. JavaScript finds this paragraph and changes its HTML content to say, "Hello JavaScript." See that? It's like magic, but cooler. Next, we want an image to change at the click of a button. We have this image of a light bulb. To turn it on, we use a separate image of a lit light bulb and a little JavaScript magic. JavaScript can change HTML attribute values, and in this example, we just changed the SRC, or source attribute, to turn the light on. Let's style things up. We can use JavaScript to change CSS styles too. Look at this example. Here we have 3 buttons. Using CSS and JavaScript, we can change font size, hide an element, or show an element, all triggered on user interaction, making our page interactive and dynamic. JavaScript was created by Brendan Eich in 1995. It's totally different from Java, and the official name is ECMAScript. And here's a secret: you don't need to download JavaScript. It's already built into your browser. Yep, whether you're on a computer, tablet, or smartphone, JavaScript is ready to roll, and it's totally free. That's it for today's JavaScript intro. Now go play around with these examples and make your web pages come alive. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to get notified about our latest videos. For more coding tips and tricks, keep it locked right here on w3schools.com. Don't forget to try out what you've learned in our interactive editor. Happy coding!
Chapter 1: Introduction to Python Programming.
Hey, Jacob, what are you doing?
I have a deadline tomorrow. I have to complete this Python code on time.
Huh? Python code? I don't get it.
Well, Sophia, by code, I mean a computer program.
I still don't get it, but I would like to know about it since I want to be an IT engineer like you.
Of course. Being an IT engineer, I tend to assume that everyone knows these terms. Bring that chair here and sit next to me. I'll explain. A computer program is actually a set of instructions that we give to a computer to tell it what to do. Without instructions, a computer's just a dumb piece of hardware that doesn't know what to do with itself. It's the commands we give it that make it useful.
What kinds of commands do you give?
Well, basically, you can make it do whatever you want. You can make it create web pages for you, create games. In fact, you can even make it help you with your homework.
Wow, that means if I just tell the computer what kind of game I want to create, it will create it for me?
Yes, but there's a catch. Just like we humans use language to communicate, so do computers. We have to give these instructions to the computer in a language they understand. This language is called a programming language.
Can you give me some examples of programming languages?
There are lots of programming languages that you can use. There's QBasic, C, C++, MATLAB. A quite popular one these days is Python.
Oh, so that's what you meant by, I have to complete this Python code on time.
That's right. I was writing my code using the Python language.
But why Python?
That's a good question. There are a number of things that make Python extremely useful for coding, especially for beginners. First of all, it's quick and efficient. It doesn't require the use of a lot of complicated symbols, like hashes and dollar signs, that a lot of other programming languages require. Moreover, they're user-friendly. In fact, even you can learn how to code in Python. It's easy to learn. It has an interactive shell in which you can enter programs and run them. It even has something called the Turtle module that's useful and fun for kids. Moreover, there's another module called tk-enter that provides a simple way to create programs with advanced graphics and animations. Python also provides services for data science, deep learning, and artificial intelligence, AI.
Wow! Can you please teach me how to code in Python? I really want to learn.
Sure. I think I can take some time out to teach you. Let me start from the beginning. How to install Python on your computer. If you have Windows on your computer, you have to go to your web browser and enter http://www.python.org/. Click on Download and select the latest version of Python 3 available. Once the Windows installer has been downloaded, double-click the icon and follow the installation instructions. Make sure you note down which directory it installs Python in. In the end, you should have a Python 3 entry in your Start menu. The Python default installation automatically installs the idle shell for you. The idle shell is an interactive environment that allows you to experiment and edit text and is ideal for Python coding. IDLE stands for Integrated Development Environment.
Why is it ideal for Python?
For starters, it provides you an editor window where you can type your code and save it. It also allows you to copy-paste and do things that most word processors do. Secondly, and most importantly, it helps you with your coding syntax. By that, I mean it makes sure you write your code in the correct Python format. Anyway, so once you've installed Python on your system, you can just navigate to your Python folder from the Start menu and click on IDLE.
Okay, but what if I'm using a Mac?
To get the Mac OS version, you have to go to http://www.python.org/get-it on your browser and download the installer the same way. And if you have Ubuntu, chances are Python's already installed, but it may be an older version. To get the latest version, you click on the button for Ubuntu Software Center on the sidebar. Enter Python in the search box on the top right corner, and select the latest version of IDLE from the list of software. Finally, click Install. There, that's simple. Now that you have Python installed, and you've opened the IDLE editor, you'll see something like this. This is the Python shell. You see the 3 greater than signs here? This is called the prompt. It lets you know that you can start typing your commands from here.
That's great. Please teach me how I can give commands.
Sure. Let's get you to write your first line of Python code. Just type print, open parentheses, open quote, hello world, end quote, in parentheses. Making sure you put the double quotes too. This line is responsible for printing whatever is placed inside the double quotes.
Got it. Finally, press the return key. Wow, Hello World is displayed.
You see, Sophie, the computer just did what you commanded it to. You asked it to print Hello World, and it did. It gave you the result of your command. This result is called the output. Notice that the prompt reappears after giving the output. This is to let you know that the Python shell is ready to accept more commands. Now, let's save what you wrote so you can use it again later. Simply click on File, and then Save.
Wow, I can't believe I just did that myself.
Good job, Sophie. You should be proud of yourself.
I have a lot of great notes here. Thanks, Jacob.
My pleasure. Now, let me ask a few questions to test your understanding.
Okay, I'm ready.
Question 1. What is Python? A game. B, a human language. C, a computer language. D, a command. E, an instruction.
The answer is C, a computer language.
That's right. We use a computer language like Python to communicate with the computer. Question 2. What is idle? A, an interactive environment. B, a text editor. C, integrated development environment. D, a word processor that can detect errors in syntax. E, all of the above.
The answer is E, all of the above.
That's right. IDLE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment, acts as a text editor where you can write in your code. It also provides services such as reporting of syntax errors. Question 3. What line do you type to print the words Hello World on the Python screen? A, print F, parentheses, Hello World, exclamation point, end parentheses. B, print, parentheses, Hello World, parentheses. C, print Hello World. D, print space, parentheses, Hello World, end parentheses. E, show, parentheses, Hello World, end parentheses.
The correct answer is D, print Hello World with Hello World in parentheses and double quotes.
Great job. You really are smart. Guess you take after your brother. Next, I want to teach you about variables and strings. Get ready.
That technology can play in solving real-world challenges. Because at the heart of this AI Energy Hackathon is exactly that, using innovation to solve practical energy problems in our schools and communities. As we continue building this journey, it is important that we remain grounded in a bigger vision behind this initiative. To help us do just that, it is my pleasure to invite someone whose passion, leadership, and commitment continue to drive this program forward. A very familiar face to all is our own Mr. Donald Baldev Singh, who is the founder of the Carbon Zero Institute of Trinidad and Tobago and a strong advocate for climate action, youth innovation, and sustainable development. Through his leadership, initiatives such as the Climate Quiz and now the AI Energy Hackathon are creating meaningful opportunities for young people like yourselves to think differently, lead boldly, and develop solutions that can create real impact. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Donald Baldev Singh. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Postam. It's a pleasure to once again address you all participants in our secondary schools AI Energy Hackathon. It's a long-term AI Energy Hackathon, and I hope that today would have given you further insight about how these things are connected together. Now, in this hackathon, we are promoting your own creativity and your own ability to work as a team and come up with ideas and bring them together into a solution. And we are looking for you to build workable solutions that we can work with you to expand on and to continue to grow your capabilities through something we call the Caribbean U Energy Hub, which is a collaboration with CZITT and the University of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is also supported by UNICEF, by Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, and by other supporters, such as Screaming Power out of Canada. Now, you've been exposed to a number of different areas connected to the hackathon. And as we go into the last stage of preparing for it over the next couple of weeks, we will be gelling all of these things together. But we encourage you to go on your own time and read and learn and practice. So let me give you a few hints today about things that you could be practicing and learning. In the hackathon, you will be presented with a problem related to the energy use in your school. And you will be tasked with finding a solution. Now, remember, there's no one correct answer to this. And there may be more than one solution, and there may be combinations of solutions. But we would like you to home in on a solution that you believe can be implemented at your school to reduce its carbon footprint from the use of energy at the school. So you will be presented with a problem, and you will be presented with access to some data that you can use in solving the problem. And you will be asked to create a solution and demonstrate it on the day of the hackathon, which is June 12th. On that day, you will create the whole solution, and then you will present it. And we will have judges there who will come around and look at how you're creating it, and then look at how you present it. And what they will be looking for is your creativity, your technical competence in developing the tool, whether the tool works, whether the solution you have works, or whether it has bugs that still need to be fixed, whether it is a viable technique or tool or some kind of solution that can be used to reduce the energy usage in your school, and how easy it will be to roll it out. Now, we'll post up all these criteria online, so you don't need to get the detail today. But the idea is that you will create a solution on that day. Now, some of the things that you can do to prepare, and we've already started introducing it, to look at as many videos along the lines of what you saw today as you can in the time that you have, knowing that you have to balance your schoolwork and your family life and your own social life. But look at more videos on these topics of AI, of coding, and of energy usage. And get to a level of quiet confidence in these areas. Next thing, choose an AI tool that you want to stay with. I would suggest that you try out at least 3 of them. And we're talking about tools like Claude, like Grok, like ChatGPT, and there are others. So pick one and experiment with it and use it for some trials. And we will give you some tests coming up in videos that will come after this, that you can use the AI tools to solve a problem, and that will give you some practice. And we already had a session on how to write the prompt. So you'll be looking to apply what you learned from there to solving a problem using the AI tools. The other thing is to choose some kind of language or programming interface, or something as simple as mastering Excel for data analysis, and presentation. And you could choose with Python or JavaScript and get familiar with it and decide which one of these tools you would like to use. And it includes that if you're not happy with either JavaScript or Python, you put your focus on Microsoft Excel, analyzing data in the Excel environment, and presenting the data with user interfaces. Practice these things, and you will be getting ready for our hackathon. Have fun, that's one of the most important things, and come up with your own creative ideas. We look forward to further informational presentations in this series and to seeing you on June 12th for the finals of this hackathon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Baldev Singh, for those inspiring remarks. Students, now that you have seen how coding, innovation, and artificial intelligence can come together, the real question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? Every major breakthrough began with someone willing to ask a different question. So I encourage you today to be curious, be creative, be bold, because the next impactful solution could very well come from one of your teams. Thank you all once again, and we look forward to seeing your ideas come to life. Until next time, do have a wonderful day.
Thank you.